Crypto taxes are coming, and for a lot of people, they might owe more money in taxes than they currently hold in crypto. And if that's you and you don't know it, you only have until January 1st to take action and save yourself from paying possibly thousands or even tens of thousands in crypto taxes. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make sure you don't unknowingly have a massive crypto tax bill coming, how to legally fix it if you do owe a ton of money in crypto taxes, but this has to be done before January 1st. And in general, everything you might have to do before January 1st that could save you from paying, no joke, possibly thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars in crypto taxes. And it's really sad when people miss this because they can have like $10,000 in crypto, but have to pay an $80,000 or $100,000 crypto tax bill because they made one small mistake. Okay, the first thing you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to actually figure out how much you owe in crypto taxes, and you're gonna need to do this before January 1st. And I know this can seem really complicated, especially for someone like me that trades a lot of the time on decentralized exchanges, and you're using your own wallet, and you're like, how do I even get started figuring out what I owe on crypto taxes? I'm gonna show you the really easy way to do it that I use that I promise makes the process a lot simpler. The way that I do it is using a site called Coinly. It's like a crypto tax software that runs all your transactions for you and makes the process super easy. I've tried a bunch of other crypto tax companies. All of them had their different pros and cons. They're all in general pretty similar, but most of them didn't support all the different chains I was using, which made it extremely difficult for me to figure out how much I owed in taxes. And since that's what I personally use, that's the tool I'm gonna use to guide you through how to do this process. All right, to get started, there is an affiliate link for Coinly in the description of this video. If you use that, it gets you 20% off if you use it in the next 30 days. If you use it after that, it gets you 10% off. You don't have to use Coinly. Again, this is just the one I use. If you want to use it, then go for it. If you want to use something else, that's fine. It really doesn't matter what platform you specifically use. After clicking on the link, it should either take you to the website or to the sign up form to get set up. And once you're signed up, you're going to go up to the top and you're going to click on wallets, the blue button that says add wallet/exchange. And then you're going to select whatever different exchanges you might use. If you're using Binance US, you'll select that. If you use Binance, you'll select that. Crypto.com, Coinbase, KuCoin, etc. For this example, we're going to click on Coinbase. It's going to allow you to name the wallet, and it's going to have this thing that says, let's import some data, set up auto sync, recommended. You click that. It's going to take you to Coinbase, and you're going to set up an API. If you do something like Binance, it's going to give you similar options. It's going to say, you can name the wallet. It's going to say, let's import some data, and you can either import from file or set up auto sync. In this case, though, instead of taking you to the website, I think Coinbase's method is a little bit easier. You're going to have to input an API key, and you're going to have to input an API secret. This is really, really easy. If you don't know how to do it, just click this little link right here. And then it brings you to this page that shows you exactly what to do. But just to give you a really basic overview, this is really simple. It sounds complicated, API key, if you've never heard that, but it's really, really simple. You just log on to Binance. You go to the Binance API management page. You're going to create a new API. I guess Binance has a special tax report API, but you don't specifically have to create a tax report API. You can create any API that's read-only, and then it's going to give you an API key and an API secret. These are going to be two numbers that are going to pop up on your screen. You're going to copy the key, paste it here. You're going to copy the secret and paste it here. And you're going to go through and you're going to do this for every single exchange you have. And if you're like me and you use your own wallet and you trade on Uniswap, you trade on PancakeSwap, and you actually utilize the blockchain to do your trading, you're going to also have to import wallet data. And to do that, you're going to go over to here where it says blockchains, click on that. And then you're going to go to whatever wallet you use and copy your actual address. And say if you use the Ethereum network to do some stuff, you bought stuff on the Ethereum network, you used Uniswap on the Ethereum network, you're going to paste that address right here. And you're going to do that for every single network that you use that address with. If you used it on Polygon, you got to create a Polygon one. If you used it on Avalanche C chain, you're going to got to create an Avalanche C chain one, Optimism, Arbitrum, Phantom, etc. And really, if you're ever kind of confused and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do, I use X wallet. You can click on the wallet tab. You can go find, the Kepler wallet if that's what you used. And then they just sort of walk you through the process of what you have to do. Now, for the purpose of this video, I'm just using a random address that I grabbed. And since I'm using only that address, I don't have any of the exchanges that this address used, and I don't have any of that data imported. It's going to be slightly inaccurate, but it's going to work for the purpose of me explaining explaining what you're supposed to do and how to figure out if you owe a ridiculous amount of taxes, and then how to legally fix that so that you don't have to pay a ridiculous amount of taxes you can't pay because your crypto has lost so much value over this past year. But I do want to clarify, you have to connect to every exchange you use, every wallet you use for it to make sense, because if you don't, it's not going to understand when you bought something, it's not going to understand when you sold something, and your report will be incredibly inaccurate. You have to hook everything up for it to completely understand what you've done. After it's all done, it should tell you, and you're gonna go to the dashboard. And your dashboard should look something like this. And you can see for this wallet, it looks like they're negative $1.3 million. That really sucks. Although for this example, this number is not going to be accurate because we have not hooked up all the exchanges and other wallets for this person. But for you, after you have hooked up all your exchanges and wallets, this number should be accurate, and it's going to tell you what you made. And you might be thinking, I'm down $30,000. I haven't made anything, so what's the point? Well, some of you guys are going to be surprised because even though you might be down $30,000, this realized gain section is going to say that you made $50,000 or that you made $80,000. And you're going to be confused because you're going to be like, I didn't make $80,000. I'm down $30,000. Why is it saying that? And if you're seeing that on your screen, the reason that it's saying that is because you have not realized those losses. And this is where some people are going to be in big tax trouble because they're going to have a tax bill that they can't afford to pay because they never realized their losses before January 1st. Let me show you an example. You can see that this person held Geonosis and they lost over $1 million on their Geonosis position. Now, let's say originally this $1 million that they put into this Geonosis position came from an earlier crypto. Say that they invested in Ohm early on, they made $1 million. They sold that Ohm and then they used it to invest into Geonosis. Well, they had $1 million profit from Ohm, and then they invested that $1 million profit into Geonosis. And because they haven't sold their Geonosis in this example, that means that they still are realizing that $1 million profit, even though they're down $1 million on this position. So how do they correct this so that they don't have a massive tax bill? Well, what they have to do is they have to go and they have to sell their Geonosis tokens and realize that loss. This is called tax loss harvesting. Basically, any cryptos that you lost a lot of money on, if you go and sell those cryptos and realize that loss, that reduces your overall tax burden. So you can see in this example, this person made $20,000 and they owe $7,000 in capital gains. But you can see on another investment, they actually lost $25,000. So if they go and they sell that investment and realize that loss, then that loss offsets their capital gains, meaning not only did they not have to pay the $7,000 that they would have owed on this $20,000, but they also reduced their overall tax burden by an additional $1,050. Meaning, if you go through everything that you currently hold in crypto and you find all the cryptos that you've lost a ridiculous amount of money on, you can harvest those losses. You can realize those losses, and that'll offset any gains that you potentially made. And again, this counts toward not just your crypto taxes, but your overall tax burden. So if you owe $20,000 in taxes because you're a small business or whatever, you can actually reduce that amount because you took such massive losses in crypto this year. And looking at this person's profile, you can see he lost 51% on Bit, 37% on Ohm, 72% on Maker, 51% on Xmon, and so on and so forth. So ideally, for whatever positions he still holds, he wants to sell those off where it makes sense so that he can realize those losses and offset his total tax burden. And really quick, you're going to want to stay to the end of this video because I'm going to answer some questions regarding what do you do if your funds were hacked or stolen? What do you do if you got rugged? What do you do if you had funds on Celsius or FTX? I'm going to answer all of those questions a little bit later in the video. Now, in a lot of cases, a lot of these tokens that you have are going to be pretty worthless. They're going to be like you're selling $5 or you're selling $10 of a token and you're like, man, I'm selling these tokens, but I'm afraid of the gas fees that, potentially I bought it on Ethereum. I don't want to pay a ridiculous gas fee to sell this thing. A lot of times it's going to still be worth it because of the tax burden that you're offsetting. But if you really want to make sure that you're not having to pay a ridiculous amount of gas, you can come to Etherscan or, whatever gas tracker and just come look at the gas prices. Right now, they're actually pretty low. And so you're looking for, in general, anything that's like like 15 and under, and the gas fees are going to be pretty cheap and it's not going to be a huge issue. If it's still a pretty big deal for you, you could wait until like early morning time. Gas fees are usually really, really low then, and you could potentially get a better deal. Now, in some cases, if you use a wallet like me, or maybe you use multiple wallets, you might be confused on which of these positions you still hold versus ones that you used to hold and sold. And I'm going to show you really quickly how to easily see what's in your wallet, where it's staked at, where it's held at, what network it's on. And so you can go through and do all these things you need to do. You're going to want to go to a website called dbank.com. You're going to take your address and you're going to paste it right here, and then you're going to click search, and then it'll pop up your wallet like this. It'll show you your current balance. It'll show you what assets you have, what network those are on, and then it shows within your wallet exactly what you hold. And we can see right now that this person does still hold this Geonosis. They haven't sold, it seems, and harvested that loss, which could be an issue for their taxes. If you keep scrolling down, it'll show you like if you have stuff staked, where is this staked at? You know, what are you holding in each different place? Are you farming things? All these different things that are really useful, especially if you're like me and you sometimes forget where you stuck something or you forget how to access it. This makes it really easy so that you can see everything and then go through and say, okay, you know what? I haven't sold this Geonosis. I took $1 million loss on this thing. I should probably realize that loss. Or I haven't sold this bit. I took a massive loss. I should probably realize that loss, etc. So what do you do if it's a token you don't want to sell? Like it's a token you want to hold long term, but you took a big loss on. You don't want to pay unnecessary taxes, but you don't necessarily want to sell this token. Well, typically there's this thing called the wash sale rule, which basically means if you sell an asset, so say if you had like a stock, you had Tesla, and then you sold Tesla to realize that loss, you couldn't buy it back for like 32 days or something. Don't quote me on that. I don't know the exact number, but you can't buy it back for a certain amount of time. Well, according to CoinDesk, and I've actually seen this on other crypto tax sites, cryptocurrency is not considered a security like stocks, bonds, and funds. And because it is not a security, the wash sale rule is not applicable as of 2022, which basically what they're saying is you could actually sell your crypto, realize the loss, and then just buy it right back. Now, I'm not personally a tax professional, and I do not know enough about taxes to say that that's correct or that's not correct. CoinDesk, however, was confident enough to include it in one of their articles, so you can take that with a grain of salt and decide what you want to do. Either way, I would look into the rules, maybe consult with an actual tax professional to see how you can handle that. But according to CoinDesk, you can actually just sell it and then buy it right back and realize that loss, because the wash sale rule is not applicable as of 2022. That is not me saying that, that's CoinDesk saying that. Again, do your own research. And again, if you're interested in using Coinly, in the description of this video, there's an affiliate link that if you use over the next 30 days, gets you 20% off of the normal price to access Coinly. Okay, so that's the basic overview of how to make sure you're not gonna unknowingly get stuck with this massive tax bill. But what do you do if your funds get hacked or stolen, or they're on FTX or Celsius or Blockfi and you can't access them currently? Okay, first up, if your funds were stolen, and this is gonna be one of the most insane things you've ever heard, if your funds are stolen, according to the IRS and the research I did, that is not tax deductible and can't be written off as a loss, which is absolutely insane. Imagine you made $50,000 investing in crypto and then took that $50,000 you made and bought some ETH with it, and then that ETH ends up getting stolen because of whatever reason, you fall for some sort of phishing scam. Well, according to the IRS, you still owe taxes on that 50K even though it got stolen and you no longer have it. And they will not let you write off the loss, even though you literally don't have the money. In fact, the IRS actually states that the thief has to declare the market value of the stolen property on their tax return. The same applies if you lost your password, accidentally sent your crypto to the wrong address, lost your private keys, etc. None of that, from my understanding, from my research, is tax deductible. And I don't know who wrote these tax laws, but it's obviously literal, absolute nonsense and completely unfair, but that is currently how it is. And as far as if your funds are currently on FTX or Celsius or Blockfi, as far as I can tell, until the bankruptcy process is finished, you cannot claim those either as a tax deductible loss. So both of those situations just totally suck. But on the other hand, if you were rugged and you still hold the token that you got rugged from, even though the token is worthless, if you could swap that token for anything, then from my understanding at that point, that should mean that you've realized your loss and you can claim that on your tax return. Lastly, if you know somebody who traded crypto that could unknowingly have a massive tax bill, make sure to send this video to them so that if they do have this massive tax bill and they don't know how tax loss harvesting works, they can act before January 1st and not get stuck with this massive tax bill that could cost them thousands or tens of thousands of dollars. And again, I'm not a tax professional. This is not advice for you personally. This is just me doing some Google searches, me doing some research and figuring these things out for myself, and then passing along what I've learned to you. But maybe I could be wrong about some of these things. I could not correctly understand these things. I'm not a certified tax professional. This is just my understanding of how these things work. So make sure you're actually talking to a qualified tax professional to get like a second opinion on what to do. If this video has been helpful, make sure to hit that like button. If you have any questions or comments, or if you're a certified tax professional and you have any insight that you want to share with us or add to this situation, let me know in the comments below. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and you got to hit the little bell next to it if you want to actually be notified each time I release a video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.